kind of pump the crowd a little bit? They're a little worried there for a second, Royce.
Yeah. I played terrible, you know.
Well, I mean, arriving when you arrived.
Oh, yeah. I played pretty bad, and, you know, it took me a while to kick it in gear. It's probably my first time playing an organized game in a couple months. So, but I try to kick it in gear at the end, give the crowd a little bit of a show.
Royce, how do you feel about going to Philly?
Well, if it goes through and it happens that way, I'm excited. You know, it's a blessing to play on any NBA team, and I just hope that I can continue to work with the NBA and the Players Union and whatever team I'm on to try and create a better mental health awareness.
You think there'll be more understanding of your condition, your situation?
You know, I think any team in the NBA itself, the Players Union, all fall under that umbrella that we hear everybody talking about right now. That's a low mental health awareness. So I don't think anybody escapes that umbrella. Even I don't escape that umbrella. There's things that, as much as I talk about it, I don't even know still. So that makes it tough on everybody, and it's a tough dynamic to deal with. It's complex, but it's great that we're talking about it and trying to address it.
What do the Sixers have to do to get you onto the floor?
Well, I think it's a misconception that I couldn't have been on the court for Rockets last year. I mean, I've been able to come to the roster since last year, my first time down in RGV. The Rockets just didn't elect to bring me up because they felt the chemistry that they had built up in my absence was good, and they didn't need me. And that was probably true because they did well in the playoffs. So.
Your rookie season being as it was in the NBA, have you ever second-guessed your decision to come out early?
No. To do that would be to second-guess Coach Hoiberg, and I wouldn't do that.
Have you had any conversations with Philadelphia yet?
No, not yet. I don't think we were able to talk until the trade is official. And you know, like I said, I'm happy to be a part of the Philadelphia organization if that's what it is, and I'm happy to advance my career in Houston if that's what it is. And Philadelphia's already shown me a great amount of support, even not knowing that it's official, which is not surprising but encouraging.
Was Sam Hinkie part of drafting the mental health protocol that you had with the Rockets?
No, he wasn't. The mental health protocol was a very select group of people between the organization, myself, the NBA, the Players Union, and you know, it's not as unique as you think. It's not as complex as you think. It talks about having a doctor that's not totally with the player, not totally with the team, and it talks about that person being kind of neutral so that they can keep the interest based on just sound medical recommendations and things of that nature. It talks about diet, all the things that come true when you're trying to properly treat mental health.
Will you play in the NBA next year?
Randy, you come with the straightforward one time. Well, I don't know. I mean, anything could happen between now and then. I didn't get a chance to play this year. It's every intention of mine to play, and I don't know what Philly's intentions are. Obviously, they see something in me, or maybe they just needed to move some people around. So I'm just going to go there and try and work hard and earn my place.
You said you wanted to be a pioneer for mental health in the NBA.
Yeah.
Did you help or hurt the causes of people suffering from your condition?
Well,
I want to be in the NBA from here on out.
Well, I don't think I said I want to be a pioneer. I think a lot of that was done by the media to call me a pioneer, just because I'm kind of the first person to take such a proactive approach to treat my own mental health. As the media here knows, I've been advocating for mental health since I was here in Iowa State. And that advocacy will lead to one place, and that's Capitol Hill, because that's where it needs to be done. The mental health parodies that we create in the NBA only affect 300 people, and you're talking about something that affects 70 million. So I understand how big that demographic is, and that whether the NBA appreciates it or not, it doesn't affect the big scheme of things. The reason why we try to create a league-wide sort of document or protocol is because a lot of the things that we were suggesting, being me, my doctor, people that helped me get to this point, Coach Hoiberg, a lot of things we were suggesting they had never done before, admittedly, and the NBA didn't know if they wanted to allow the Rockets to pay for a bus, because it could be a salary cap infringement. When they go to try and get somebody like Dwight Howard, they could give him a house to say that that helps his mental health, or what I mean. It's just it was a tricky thing. So I think it's a lot more complex than people give it credit, and that's why I stay positive, because it's a great thing that's going on.
Royce, can you fly on a plane though? I mean, that's the big issue. Can you fly?
Yeah.
82 games, you can fly?
No, hell no. 100 flights is way too much exposure for somebody who deals with a phobia.
Yeah.
They do treat phobias with exposure to what it is you're afraid of, but 100 flights would be like if you're allergic to peanut butter and I just covered your whole body in it.
Royce, you said last year that a lot of players around the NBA aren't. What have you heard from them? You said a lot of them support.
Been supportive, more so than the current players, because they were really focused on the season. Obviously, I've heard from a lot of players that are out of the NBA now, and they talked about some of the things that they had to do in the past to help with their mental health. A lot of players came out to me about being afraid to fly as well, and things they used to do that were not healthy for them to treat their mental health, which is what I'm trying to avoid. Things like Xanax, benzodiazepines, which are very, very highly addictive. Things like alcohol. to get ready for a flight. A lot of players talked about. One player even disclosed to me that a year after he was out of the league, he had to check himself in the mental ward because he was having such bad insomnia from the sleeping pills he took to fly.
Does the fact that Philadelphia traded for you, knowing full well your issues, plus Sam Hinkie obviously being close to that, does that make you more hopeful that this will be a smoother transition?
Well, I mean, I think everybody, including the league, and don't get me wrong here, what Philadelphia's intentions are, what the Rockets' intentions are, any other team individually won't help mental health safety in the league or logical treatment in the league unless the NBA makes a decision to do it whole, just like the government, right? You know, and individual towns and cities aren't, you know, what can get it done. We need a mass appreciation for the illness and genuine care and support. But I think that Philadelphia has heard enough because of Sam's relation to the situation and being in regards to being familiar with my situation and sympathetic. Me and Sam had a ton of conversations when he was in Houston. I saw him every day working out there when I first got there, and we had a number of conversations, and he's a very good voice of reason in my experience.
Royce, it's a brutal media town. Philly is a hard-knocking town. They boo Santa Claus. There's a jail in the basement. I mean, that is as Cataldi, Howard Eskin, those talk show hosts there are brutal. How are you going to handle the undoubted doubting you? Some of the things we've already read are just flat out brutal. Yeah, well, I mean, you know how I stay. You know, it's a be well attitude and a positive. You know, I believe in shedding light where there's darkness. And to me, negative media, negative person-to-person relationship, negative support, negative comments are all unnecessary, undoubtedly unnecessary. And positivity is the only way to respond. And I think I've dealt with a lot of scrutiny from the media already. Some of the big-time names, Wojnarowski and Bill Simmons and people like these guys that, you know, try and scrutinize me as well. But I'm just here to, you know, try and support human welfare. He's been supportive, and he did a great job of reaching out to some of the Rockets management as well and try to support me.